In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 phases that every private practice goes through: the start phase, the growth phase, and the scaling phase. So the start phase for a private practice is at the very beginning. It's going to be from $0 to $40,000. During this phase, the main focus is startup, to get going, to get your very first client. So the sign that you've made it, that you've actually started, is that you have your first client. There's 3 main goals during this phase. It's to get the nuts and bolts going. So all of those things that you need to get in order, you want to get that going. You want to get client acquisition down. And third, you want to keep risk down as far as you can, because you don't want to have it be risky when you're first starting a business. Now the next phase is the growth phase. During the growth phase of private practice, this is going to be from around $40,000 gross to $100,000 gross. During this phase, your main sign that you've made it is that you're mostly full with your ideal client. So you're seeing clients that you want to see at the rate that you want to see them, and you're mostly full. You might even be turning some people away because you just don't have the capacity to see more people. So during the growth phase, what you want to do is you want to be optimizing your time. You want to do this through people and services. So for example, you might want to hire your first virtual assistant to answer the phones, to do your scheduling so that you can be doing your sessions in your private practice. Or you might want to have tools like an electronic medical records. As well, you want to be adding some part-time people to fill in the gaps. Who are you referring out of your private practice so that you can keep those people internal? So for example, if you do parenting work, maybe you need to have a child therapist, or maybe you need a play therapist. Who's going to complement you that could come in on a part-time basis in the hours that you have your office, but that you're not actually in it? Lastly, we want to start to ask ourselves, right before services, what do people need? Do we want to give them an infographic, some training, some different things right before services? And then during services, how do we give them even better service? And then after services, what do they need? So maybe they need a group, maybe they need an e-course or a podcast, so that we have before services, during services, and after services. The last phase of private practice is the scaling phase. This is from $100,000 all the way up to $1 million. During this phase, the biggest sign that you've made it in this phase is, can you go away for 2 weeks without everything falling apart? And even better, could you go away for a month? Because we want to have the systems and the scaling all set up so that it's not dependent on you anymore. During the scaling phase, the big focus is on removing hats. The very thing that it took you to get to 6 figures is the thing that you need to stop doing to get to 7 figures. So when you're doing this, you want to ask yourself, should I be spending my time on this? So for example, maybe you've been the accountant, maybe you've looked at all the legal paperwork, maybe you've done all of the billing yourself or the phones. You really want to take all of those hats off. We want to move towards systematizing everything. We want it to be a system that runs things, not you. Because if it's dependent on you, you really can't scale. And what that leads into is finding great people. So finding great clinicians, finding great front desk staff, finding great people for the phones, finding great people to do marketing and IT for you. People that are experts in all of these different areas so that you can scale beyond your own abilities. Now the people that I have seen through my consulting work and my mastermind groups that have leveled up fastest through these 3 phases are those that are in community, those that are getting extra help and learning from people that have gone before them. We would love for you to join us. Head on over to practiceofthepractice.com/apply to connect with us so that we can help you continue to grow your practice.